Valentine's Day is something so much deeper than what our culture says it is, than the way the general culture treats it. Generally, these days, people treat Valentine's Day as a holiday to make an excuse to buy their significant other something, to treat their significant other in a lustful way. Companies use it to get money from people. They've really commercialized the holiday. But the meaning of Valentine's Day is so much deeper. It goes back to the 3rd century. Now there's a lot of different ideas from where Valentine's Day comes from as to why we celebrate Valentine's Day on February 14th. Nothing is really 100% fact because there's a lot of different stories, but I just want to share one of the legends, one of the stories that probably is true about how it happened. It is true that there is a Saint Valentine Day. There is a Saint Valentine. I'm sorry. And that this Saint Valentine was martyred on February 14th. Now, the way it happened most likely was that he was living in the Roman Empire, and there was an emperor named Claudius at the time in the 3rd century who prohibited marriages because he wanted his soldiers not to focus on their wife and kids, but just on him, just on the army. And so Valentine was a priest who would perform marriage ceremonies for these people in secret. And he was a faithful man, and these people really trusted him. He would administer the sacraments to them. When the emperor found out he would do this, he got very upset. He ended up telling him to stop doing it. He ended up trying to get him to renounce Christ and the Christian faith. But Valentine refused. Valentine refused until he was put to death. He was a martyr for the faith. And so this story of Saint Valentine shows us about the love that this man, Valentine, had for God, because he stayed faithful to the laws of God, and for the people who he served, that he risked his life and he gave his life to give these people the sacrament of matrimony. It also shows the love that these people had for each other, that they would also risk their life for love of each other, and their love for the law of God, that they risked their life to be married in the right way that God wanted them to be. And so this is something we can learn from what this feast day actually is, what we should actually focus on. It's a good reminder for our culture now that has made relationships a lot of the time based on lust and not on real love. Real love is sacrifice, is giving of oneself for another. Real love is not using another just for the pleasure of their body. Real love waits to do it the right way. Real love waits to be intimate with one another, for the man and woman, for the intimacy to be only when they have both made the promise to each other before God and the church in marriage. The marital act is a full gift of self. There's nothing more you can give than that. And so we need to be reminded as a culture that the marital act is meant for marriage only and is ordered toward having children, because that's what God made it for. So, my friends, we should take this day as an opportunity to show others what the real meaning of love is, what the real meaning of marriage is, that it is ordered toward the family. It is ordered toward God's law and God's love for us. If we can love God with a pure heart, if we can follow his law, then we can also love others with a pure heart. So let's take this as an opportunity to help others see what the real meaning of love is, so that in your lives and in your relationships, you can also live that. You can also live the way that Jesus wants you to live in your relationships, and to treat others for who they are, not just for the way that they make you feel, not just for their body, but for who they are. And we are all children of our God who loves us and who has given us that dignity of being his children, so that as his children we can live in love and in unity with him and with each other.